Hi, I'm Daniel Robinson. Welcome to Plumpy Thimble. I've reached a point where I can securely say that I enjoy board games. It's shocking, I know. The point is, they take up a much larger portion of my thought process than they previously did. Growing up, it was always the usual, Monopoly, Battleship, and Clue fare. Clue is Clue makes me feel like my head's going to explode, and then I'll be asked to piece together my skull as if it were a jigsaw puzzle, but without the use of my brain. I've always liked board games, but there are specific ones that have put me on the path to this thought process that board games are not just sort of a pastime that you take out at holidays. I mean, these games they're both an achievement artistically and mechanically for the designer of the game, as well as a box of potential experiences for you and your friends and family. You're often forced to exercise your brain by using logic practices and social interactions that you may not be comfortable with. On top of all this, you're sharing these experiences with other human beings, most of the time without screens or any sort of electronics in front of you or in between you. So you've got these artifacts that are, usually artistically and creatively very impressive, but not only do you just take them and you look at them, but you share these with other people. And you don't just share the item, but you share in an event and an experience. Anyway, I thought it would be fun to take a look at the 5 games that I found most influential in bringing me into the interest of this particular hobby. I should preface, this list is not my suggestions for games that I would use to get people interested in playing more games. But these are just the 5 games that I feel like were most influential for me personally. So number 5 is Shark Attack. Shark Attack is about the intellectual equivalent of running away from a spider while your shoes are tied together. This was probably my favorite game as a young boy. The game essentially is a circular board, and each player is represented by a fish. There's 2 dice. You roll the dice, and the dice, instead of having numbers, have colors of each of the fish on there. If your color pops up, you advance your fish 1 space. You had better have someone that can roll faster than a casino montage in a heist film, because if you don't roll quickly and you're not advancing your fish, there's a mechanical shark that moves around the board as well and will eat your fish. It was the first time that I realized that a game where I'm sitting down and not running around could have very serious potential heart problems for a young boy. And number 4 was Talisman, and this is a game I played much later on. Talisman was another caliber. When I was first introduced to it, I had a real Monopoly vibe. I kind of felt a real Monopoly vibe when I was looking at the board. It had spaces that were on the outer edge. There was cards that you drew that were roughly the size of the chance, and community chest cards. There was 2 dice you rolled. The difference was you took on the role of a hero, and it's still a game that's really popular and available. And you advanced your hero, and you were not necessarily in direct competition with the other players. You could certainly fight them, attempt to take them out of the game by killing them. It was a race to the center of the board, but once you got into sort of the 2 other inner levels, you really risked some more difficult challenges. What the game did was it did a really good job of taking super familiar mechanics. Monopoly, roll and move, draw a card when you're supposed to, do what the card says, and it introduced a whole new level to it. Number 3 was Heroscape. By the time I had stumbled on Heroscape, I'd been playing some other games. We'd been dabbling in a Lord of the Rings miniatures game. My brothers and I, we knew that we liked games, and oftentimes that was computer games. We play a lot of Dungeon Siege, Age of Empires, that kind of thing. So it was sort of, we dabble into these other areas. My oldest brother came home with what looked like just dozens and dozens of tiny action figures, and as well as terrain that clicked together like Legos. Heroscape's kind of been taken over by Magic the Gathering Arena of the Planeswalker. It's a compatible game now, but it was a game where you could customize just about everything, but it was simple enough for just about anyone to learn. And it took elements of fantasy, and it took elements of science fiction and history, and it combined all these units together, and you could have full-on battles that were easy to set up, easy to understand rules, and each game was different every single time. Number 2 is Settlers of Catan, and I think this is just about on everybody's sort of gateway list. Everybody plays and like loves this game, and had it been a drug in 1990, the cartoon All-Stars would have just dropped from exhaustion in attempts to prevent people from playing this. Believe it or not, there's still people that I can introduce this game to, and each time is pretty much the same. I mean, for most of us that play games a lot, we've been there, done that. We've played this game quite a few times. It may be growing a little old hat, but it gets the same sort of reaction from the people that play it for the first time. And that's one that they recognize solid mechanics, they recognize a unique gameplay, and just a solid rule set. And above all, it's fun. It's fun and it's infuriating. And the heart palpitations that I had when I played Shark Attack came back in college when I played Settlers of Catan. It was just, I'd ruin friendships every time. And it was just that's nice. That's what good games will do, is they'll just completely devastate relationships. So number 1 on my list is Star Munchkin. There's a lot of mass appeal in just completely decimating the ones you love. For a while, Star Munchkin was my absolute favorite game, or just Munchkin in general. It's always going to have a special place in my heart. It is the tipping point for me from when I would casually play board games to I want to start a collection. I started playing Munchkin when I was working at a summer camp. We would, I and the other staff would take a break whenever we could and just play dozens and dozens of games of Munchkin. We'd mix them. We went down the mountain one time and we all bought a different version of Munchkin. I ended up with Star Munchkin. And we'd mix them together, and we would spend, we'd spend our breaks there's something about killing monsters and looting rooms and just stabbing each other in the back every single time. And it was honestly, it was the relief we needed from corralling just hundreds of middle schoolers. So those are the 5 games that were my gateway into the gaming hobby. I would love to hear what games maybe got you interested in board games more, or just what are some games that you thoroughly enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. Subscribe. We're pretty consistent in getting videos out every week. So we will see you next time. Thanks.